today what I'd like to speak to you about is the inner storyteller, and I actually spoke to quite a few of you before at Worthing, so I'm going to slightly change it. Last time when I spoke at Worthing, I talked a lot about values and how important, being a storyteller is for your business. Today I'm really going to look at relationships. It was a long time ago, and I was sat on the phone speaking to my mum. I was actually in a very difficult phase in my life, and at the time I was very depressed. And as I was sat there on the phone to my mum in the study where I lived, my mum was trying to console me. And so she said to me, "Yeah, but Juliette, you went away. You met Rob, you got engaged, you got married, you weren't around your family, it was really difficult for you. You travelled and you never really settled down, and then you separated. You came back to England after 5 years of being away, and you got a divorce, and it's been really hard for you. You've been through a tough time." I sat there with my mouth open. Oh my God. I said to my mum, "I lived your story. You went away, you met my dad, you got engaged, you got married. Okay, I didn't have kids. You found it really hard, you're away from your family for all that time. You came back, you got divorced, and you found it really hard settling back into life here. I lived your story. Do you know how much I tried not to do that and make that mistake?" Anyway, after I'd been travelling, and well, it was actually during the time I was travelling, I did get divorced in Central America. It's quite a good place to get divorced, actually. Well, separated anyway, with all the hot Latin Americans around. Or maybe it's bad, I don't know, who can tell. But I had fun, and I met this gorgeous man from El Salvador, and we spent wonderful times together. When I got back to England, I really wanted to bring him back here. I wanted to start a life together. He just had a heart of gold. Anyway, he didn't actually come here. He had no money at all. So I went back to Central America, and I stayed there and lived with his family for 3 months, which was an amazing experience. His sister actually gave up her bedroom for me to live in. Can you imagine anyone doing that for you here? She gave up her bedroom and she slept on the couch or on the mother's bed or on her brother's bed. Anyway, I did come back to England, and I still had that dream of bringing him back. And, unfortunately, it didn't work out, but we're still great friends. Now, at the time when I split up with him, I told some of my friends and my family that I'd split up with him. "Oh, you are so good to get rid of that guy. It sounds awful, you shouldn't have been with him anyway, he was probably a sponger." What? They'd never even met him. How the hell did they know who he was? Oh, I told them who he was. I obviously painted such a beautiful picture of him and his golden heart that I fell in love with. They knew very well about him and all the terrible things about him, because I'd obviously complained a lot and created a picture of this person who they never even met, and apparently they knew. So, what can I say? Right now, I have actually created my very own love story, because after I reflected upon the telephone conversation with my mum, I discovered that if I created that, I could create what I actually wanted, rather than focusing all my attention and my effort into what I didn't want. Because I don't know if any of you have heard about focus creating reality. Well, sometimes we don't even realise what we're focusing on. So I have now put all my attention and my love and my focus into creating the love life that I would really like. And I have to tell you, the love story is going really well. I've even written a mini book about it, and I'm on my second book now. So, the opposite of play is not work, nor is the opposite of truth a story. We live in stories every single day. You came here today and you started by talking to someone and telling a story. Wherever we go, we tell stories. Maybe you tell stories to your friends about your other friends. Maybe you tell stories to your friends or your colleagues about your partner, about your other friends, about members of your family. What picture would you like to paint? What picture are you painting right now about each of those people in your life? They say thoughts are things. There's been loads of research done. Matsumoto, a Japanese gentleman, he tested on, he had all these jars of waters in different rooms, and on them he wrote like words on them, and like hate, and then on some love, and they tested the water afterwards, and apparently the water was actually, had it been impacted differently depending on the words on those water. Now, do we believe that, or do we not? Well, I don't know if you've ever experienced telepathy, or you think of someone and then they call you, but more